Star Wars video. I won't be showing an actual set today, but giving my personal rankings of the worst to best Ultimate Collector Series UCS sets in history. I'll be showing content from this site here, brickeconomy.com. Probably it's familiar to a lot of you, but it's a great Lego resource. It's got, an archive of all the Lego sets in history, stats about them, their and their current market price, used and new. So I track my collection here. I hope the site never goes down because it would be a lot of labor loss. But you can also export your collection stats, via CSV or Excel file for your own use. So it's free. Yeah, it's really cool. And you could also log like the price you paid for your sets, so it'll track like what your set is worth in presently and kind of your profit and all that. So yeah, very cool. This is the UCS page, and I'll go in kind of low tier, medium, and high. So not in actual numerical ranking, but these three groups of like, not so great, medium, and the best UCS sets in my opinion. So let's get into it. Here you can see there's 43 UCS sets in history. They started in year 2000, I think, with the Tide Interceptor and the first Red X-Wing. And if you their total retail price would be about 13K, but of course if you bought them all new now it would run you like 43K, so that's pretty wild. If you bought them used you could get them all for about 19K. And an interesting one here is like the popularity of the sets, like how many users of Brick Economy have registered that they have the set. So look at that, even though the Millennium Falcon, even though it's so expensive and huge, it's the most popular one by far, probably because it's so iconic and cool. And then it goes down from there. But these ones are probably the usual suspects. A lot of the more recent sets are in the top 10 because the hobby has gotten more popular over time. They're more available. Like it's really hard for a lot of people to have, say, like the Super Star Destroyer from a long time ago. I don't even know how many units Lego made, but and even more rare, like the Death Star 2 or something like that. Cool. So let's get into it, and you can see the list here. It's in reverse chronological order. So I'll go in the low tier. The sets that I think are the worst of the bunch. So the first one being Luke's Land Speeder. I mean, the good thing about this set is it's one of the least desirable, so you can get one used pretty cheap if you want to build one. And and you can see like a lot of UCS sets, the used sets exceed the retail price because they're so desired. But in this case, you can see that you can get a used one for quite a discount. And even new, this set is retired, but you can get a new one for even below retail. And this this has some APIs or scraping of like eBay, Bricklink, Amazon, those type of sites. So here you get two figures, Farm Boy Luke and 3PO. So not they've been made 100 times. They're not really special. I think for the time the 3PO one was the most detailed with like dual molded leg and this and that. But I think since Lego has made similar quality 3POs in cheaper sets, so that's not like a special thing anymore. And then the ship itself, it's very minor in the Star Wars universe. It's like basically like a Ford Taurus in the episode 4 for like 10 seconds. It's ugly and beaten up. It's supposed to be for Tatooine. But the set has a lot of nice detail. It's obviously very sturdy, but it doesn't have any moving parts. It it takes a lot of horizontal space on a shelf or something. And I mean the colors are interesting. This kind of peach color is pretty rare in Lego, but I think a lot of if you have visitors over to your house, a lot of non-Star Wars fans may not even know what this is. So, yeah, it's probably the this may be the worst UCS set. Okay, moving along. These ones are all great, so I'll get to those at the end probably. like R2D2. I mean, just because the UCS series is so awesome. Some sets have to occupy the low tier. So unfortunately, this poor guy probably has to go. And let's see the price. Yeah, you can tell here the prices here for used is really cheap. So it's not heavily demanded. You, Lego has made several versions of this like display R2D, upscaled, very large and detailed R2D2. So you don't necessarily have to get this one. It comes with just a one R2D2 figure. I think the cool thing about this one is it had back printing, but like I said, with 3PO, I think since Lego has made more versions with back printing, so this one's not so special. I mean, it's cool that it has all the R2D2 functions, like the blowtorch and the little plug that goes into the computer and things like that. And you can move his feet, but it's just not as cool as some of the other UCS sets. And then the blocky dome of his head, they still, this one's an improvement over the first UCS R2D2, but still, I think a lot of fans are turned off by the blockiness. Okay, moving on. I'll go with, whoops, sorry about these ads. I'll go with the Yoda statue next. I mean, this is really old, 2002, so you can't fault Lego for trying with the bricks they had at the time. But it's it just looks a little weird and off-putting. The eyes and it almost it looks like a baby's face, really, even though Yoda's supposed to be an elderly alien. Some of the details like the hands, the claws, do look very weird. Like if you were to just zoom in on this, I don't even know if people could recognize that these were hands. The funny, the instruction manual, you build it like an architecture set, kind of like you start with a bird's eye view of the feet, and you build layer upon layer upon layer. So that's an interesting build experience. But we all love Yoda, but this is just not a great UCS set. Next, I'll go with Darth Maul's bust. So kind of for similar reasons. It's, well, one, we all know this one is highly valuable, like you can see, because it's so rare now. And I suppose these bricks are so common you could probably make it yourself with loose bricks. But one, like, would you want to, like, this? I know, like, M&R Productions and others prominently display this set like it's kind of like Cloud City, a Grail, like it shows your clout as a major collector. But I don't want this thing on my on my a display shelf. I show this to my kids. They obviously got really freaked out. I mean, Darth Maul's a great character, and I think they do the realism better than Yoda. But again, like, it almost looks like he's naked in the chest. It's not clear that this is his tunic or something. The eyes again look pretty weird. It's quite blocky. If I had $700 for a used set, I could think of better ones to spend it on. This one I'm conflicted on. The Blockade Runner. Oh gosh, ads. Hang in there, folks. Um, yeah, I don't shop at Kohl's, so. But with the Blockade Runner, you love this. You love the vehicle, right? It's a great iconic vehicle in Star Wars. Jeez, how do I close this? Okay. And yeah, the opening scene of episode 4, it's chef kiss, pure cinema gold, everything. But and I know this set is quite old, 2001, so I'll cut them some slack, but it's just not a good set. Like if anyone's built it, it's poorly designed. It sags. It requires, well, it doesn't require, but it has rubber bands to like keep the front bridge section in this shape, because it uses these like hinged panels for the sloping. The sticker, I know it's so old, like the stickers do fall off, or like disintegrate over time. The guns are poorly detailed, and the engines, one, it's a very large set, but unfortunately it's large but not that detailed, so it kind of doesn't look great up close. I mean, from afar, excuse me, from afar, it's fine, but yeah, yeah, up close it looks pretty amateurish. And again, all the weight is back here in the thruster, so these sag over time. Like on my display shelf, I put some like a padding under it so that it won't sag. And you get like, actually I forget. Do you even get a UCS like a tiny UCS plaque for this set? Otherwise, I might have. I have one with mine, but it might be one of those aftermarket like unofficial. And of course, no minifigures because it's so old. Okay, moving along. More coals here. Now I found the X button at least. So here is the Naboo fighter from episode one. Everyone loves this ship and it has the cool chrome elements. And you get kind of an R2 and a UCS plaque. But the ding on this one is it's so small, right? It's the smallest UCS set. How many pieces does it have? Yeah, 187 pieces. So you can almost like barely call it UCS. But the great thing is it retailed for 40 bucks at the time, and I mean now the prices are ridiculous. But I think I got mine for like 200 maybe, so it's attainable if you want a classic set. But here, there's no weapons. It has stickers on it that again also degrade over time. Um, yeah, you can definitely make this yourself if you don't if you maybe use like different bricks for the chrome and then spray paint them chrome. There's some options to not if you don't want to get an original one. Okay, I want to say maybe that's the end of the low tier. So now we'll go to the medium tier, and unfortunately, I have to include the first UCS set here. The OG TIE Interceptor, just because Lego made a new one that's so much better. So I respect this one as the classic. It got the genre started. I mean, I can't believe. I wonder what the conversations were like at Lego headquarters of like, hey, let's make huge, awesome model style adult Star Wars sets. Whoever proposed that idea initially, genius, right? And it kicked off this great trend. And of course, they Lego made icons or UCS style big display sets for other themes, and it made them so much money, and it made fans really happy. So that's a cool thing. You can tell it's pretty small, 700 pieces, because it uses a lot of big plates. Yeah, only sold for 100 at the time, if you can believe. And it's pretty attainable to achieve. You can also build this thing yourself pretty much if you don't mind. You might need to substitute a gray for blue because blue's a little rarer. The only rare piece here is the windscreen, right? Which I think on Bricklink might run you 50 bucks or something. I don't know if they make knockoff ones. Anyway, so it's funny. There's that argument of like, are TIE fighters blue or not? Because in the original trilogy with the dark scenes and the shading shadows, you're not quite sure. I think George Lucas or others said that they initially intended for them to be like naval blue, but so that's why Lego made them this way. But in my opinion, I think the grays look better. So yeah, this is blocky and very it's kind of 8-bit. I mean, they did some really cool effects like the weapons, and I mean, just getting the solar. I think these are supposed to be solar panels in canon, but just getting the angle and shape of it correctly. And that's why I think this stays in the medium tier and not the low. Okay, moving on. This is going to be controversial, but I'm going to put the Death Star 2 not in high tier also. I mean, everyone like you can see that the prices for them now are really high. Like people really want this set. But and ironically, like this was my first UCS set when I got into the hobby around 2010. And it's like jumping into the deep end here. This is a tough set to build. And I'm like, ooh, this is when I wanted to be an AFOL and be like, oh, this is a lot harder than I remember it as a kid. But I worked with my wife on it actually, and probably took 2 weeks, and eventually we did it. It looks very cool, but again, a lot of gaps, blocky, fragile as heck. I mean, the inner spine is Technic, and it's but it just is propped up by these like four lift arms here or something. So, it could be tipped over if a kid bumps it or something. And then it sags also because the weight, one side is heavier than the other. So, well, one, like, it comes with an awesome box, which is like the size of a suitcase. It's great. I actually sold my box. I had the beaten up box. I bought the set used, so um, but even like I was like the only one in the world who sold this box because it's so rare on Bricklink, and I had no idea how to price it because it was really beaten up box. But I'm just like, hey, $200, and like somebody wanted it. So shipping was so expensive too because it's so huge. But it's a funny story. And then so kind of looking at this one, the instructions are really confusing how to make the like kind of um, in progress building side of the space station. They don't highlight in red like the new pieces that you're adding, so it's just your eyes will go blind trying to figure out, oh, what piece do I add here and there, and very easy to make mistakes. Um, so yeah, I know this is like iconic and like a grail for a lot of people, but it's just not a great build experience. Not a very difficult display challenge, and I think I don't know, it might sag or stress its stand over time. So actually, I've disassembled mine. It's in the garage. Yeah, maybe when my kids are older, if we want to all do it together, that might be fun. Okay, moving on, more medium tier. I'll go General Grievous figure. It's kind of weird to call this a UCS, or I mean, this is before the buildable figures era, so this was kind of new at the time. It's got the UCS plaque. I mean, it would have been great if it had a General Grievous minifigure too, but it looks very realistic. Um, the lightsabers were a little silly, like they're a bunch of like trans cylinder pieces, and then with a pipe element in the middle for stability, for more strength. But like you can put this on your shelf or something. It's unique. It's a story to tell, but it's not as cool as the other UCS vehicles. Also, to me, like there isn't like Obi-Wan next. Like General Grievous is supposed to be like 10 feet tall or something, right? But here he kind of looks skinny and dinky to me. So there isn't an Obi-Wan next to him for scale, but like he doesn't look that intimidating. So um, you know, not a great UCS set. Maybe he even goes into the low tier. I'm not sure. And then here's another medium tier. Go away, Coles. Yeah, Obi's Jedi Starfighter. Just because it only has 676 pieces, not no moving parts, no minifigure. I mean, of course, $100, very affordable at the time. Yeah, I think I got mine for like 120, new in box. So I built it, of course, but yeah, I mean, it looks nice on display. It's very, but it just unfortunately this ship has a lot of better competition in the UCS lineup. But I do like the crimson and the green elements. You don't see that a lot in UCS sets. Okay, moving on. This might be controversial too. I'll put Imperial Shuttle in the medium tier and not the high tier. A lot of people love this set. At the time it was pretty awesome that with the Technic mechanisms to articulate the wings and stuff. And yeah, maybe this was one of the first UCS sets with minifigures. I don't think these are very valuable, but just having them included is kind of cool. The box is really cool, even though it's gigantic, and you can tell by the current market prices for these are really high. So I have one so it's medium tier for a few reasons. Like it all white, so it's more susceptible to sun damage. The cockpit will sag over time, so I put like a trans a good suggestion from someone else on Facebook fan page, like to put like a trans pillar here to help with the weight. And that there is oh yeah, here you can see it in the flight mode. There is a tall black UCS stand where you can sit it on to have the wings down, but it's pretty fragile at this point. You worry about an earthquake or somebody bumping it and all going over. So probably a lot of people display it in the landing kind of landing mode. But yeah, it has weapons on it, a good variety of pieces. Maybe this one's due for a remake, who knows? But yeah, building the wings was also kind of tedious and not that fun. Yeah, kind of like Kylo Ren's shuttle, that type of style. But yeah, again, so much good competition in UCS series. That's why this isn't high tier. Another controversial take. Everyone loves the Super Star Destroyer, and I do too. But I think this has got to be medium tier also, just because I mean it comes with a good lineup of minifigures, which is nice. The box is awesome, and you could tell the market prices of this are quite high, but it's just a little boring, compared to the regular Star Destroyer. I mean, you just got like a bunch of, because of the scale you have to make it right, like a bunch of regular panels, no guns or anything, and then the kind of the I don't know what you call this part, the city element, or some sort of like the crew area. It's just a bunch of small one by ones, two one by twos, because of the scale, right? It's like, I mean, look at the bridge here with the shield generators. It's two circle studs, and yeah, it just doesn't look that impressive. The underside looks great, with the thrusters and everything. And it's funny, at the time this was like the longest UCS set from length. Yeah, maybe it's almost like a yard long, I think. So it does pose a display challenge. Okay, moving on. Now I'll have to do the first X-wing fighter here, just because Lego has made new ones since that are improvements. But this one, you have to give them credit for, they worked out the S foils Technic mechanism with the worm gear to open and close them, which is really cool. I mean, I like how it looks very beaten up and kind of like industrial, and show how the rebels are, kind of ragtag and using like secondhand vehicles and stuff. But it's missing a lot of cool elements that the newer X-wing has, like, of course, yeah, like neon engine glow, and so some other details in the front. Funny, this one looks gray. Like, I don't know if this is like an alternate build, or what's going on here. But yeah, the set is white. So you get an R2D2, and I think you have to apply stickers to the windscreen to get the little frame going. But yeah, you can tell with the for how old it is, and the resale, or the market price is not that high. So this one isn't that desired. Yeah, next I'll go to the first Imperial Star Destroyer. I mean, this was the most detailed UCS set at the time. It was huge, very impressive. Like, it looks great, but I'm putting it in the medium tier because it's a pain in the neck to build, pretty fragile. It sags with its own weight. I mean, I don't fault the designers, because this is their first attempt. It's they were swinging for the fences. It was a giant set, so totally understandable. But just from a fan point of view, it's not great compared to the new one. And even, to get the sloped plates correctly, they use magnets, if you can believe, in the inside, so that, if for all you Mtron fans out there, good, you can use those pieces again. But I think the strength of this set is the bridge area. You can see, like, super detailed, super authentic, and it fits like click click click. They come together, not with studs, but just kind of with gravity. So there's like a hole here in the fuselage, and then you put in these upper structures, which is a nice a nice solution to the design. And of course, it has the gun batteries and stuff. It just looks awesome. But yeah, just because of the other downsides I mentioned, it's not highest tier. First snow speeder. I mean, I personally love the snow speeder vehicle design. It looks very cool, with the giant guns, and the grappling hook in the back. The cockpit, yeah, really well detailed cockpit and stuff. But again, Lego made a remake of this, so this one isn't as special anymore. I'll I'll try to hurry up a little since I know this video is long. Yeah, we covered all these, right? Yeah, next, the first Y-wing. I love the Y-wing too. It's all, industrial with all this exposed machinery and pipes and stuff. A credit to Lucasfilm, of course, for coming up with this and trying to be like kind of like a World War II bomber. But again, this set was remade, so the original one, the parts it used and things like that, it's just not special anymore. And you can tell you can obtain one for a fairly affordable price. Although I think the new Y-wing is not that expensive too. You might want to just get that one. Oh, yeah, the ATST. Maybe this one deserves to go into low tier now that the remake is available. But here everyone loves this vehicle, right? It's funny, it gets blown up by the Ewoks and stuff, and the model here looks great on display. Yeah, it wasn't that expensive at the time, $80, and it still isn't. But um, it has some issues like the cockpit needs like internal rubber bands to stay together. I mean, I don't think it's going to fall apart, but that's what the instructions call for. And well, the cool thing too is like it stands on its own and stuff. At the time, like there was no AT-AT yet, so that was a pretty impressive design feat from Lego. But the new AT-AT uses modern elements that can increase the detail and stability more. Okay, we might be going to the high tier soon. Yeah, let me add a few more to medium tier. So one, I'm gonna add the new Death Slice to medium tier. Wow, there's so many sets. Yeah, everyone knows like a ton of minifigures, very cool. But these are all like a lot of them are like copies of previous. You can get these figures from other sets, right? Except for like Galen Urso and stuff, and the purple guy. I made a full video about why I'm not buying this set, so I won't go into too much detail here. But I'm just saying, like, especially for the price, if this was $600, it would go in the high tier. But because it's so unattainable and it's so big and bulky for display that it's only medium tier. Okay, moving on. Yeah, Jabba's sail barge. I know some people hate it, some people really like it. Oh gosh, ads. Jabba's sail barge. I'll put it in medium tier because I'm a bit neutral on it. I mean, yeah, the price is too high, and I made a review on a lot of these sets. So if you want more detail, please look at my video library. But this one, it's moderate for me. Like it's got a great minifig lineup. It's super realistic with a lot of interior rooms and stuff. But it's just not. It doesn't have the wow factor like an AT, especially for the price. I'll try to speed up a little so that this video isn't too long. Okay, moving on. The new X-wing here. I heard a lot of people complaining that it's fragile. I don't know. I've never had issues with it, but I think the advantages this one has over the other versions is the these like engine intakes are bigger and which is more accurate to canon. They make the fuselage has better angles and fewer gaps. I think the S foil mechanism is still is great. I think they changed it actually so that it works a little better. And yeah, of course you got the cool fuchsia engine thrust there, and you get figures. But again, it's not so wowing to get into the top tier. A-wing, yeah, maybe this one deserves low tier also. Like you can tell by the resale price, like it's not that interesting or desired by the fandom. Like I thought the A-wing was cool in the movies, but just the set, it doesn't have the moving parts like the X-wing. It's kind of the weakest of Rebel ship. I don't know how much this minifigure costs. It's special, well decorated, which is nice, but no one loves this set. No one hates it, but no one loves it either. Okay. Yeah, Millennium. Yeah, let's go to. Oh yeah, Assault on Hoth. I'll make this one medium. And I don't know, is this UCS or Master Builder Series? I guess it is UCS, but a lot of people hate this set. Like I'm okay with it. One, because I really love the Hoth battle scene from the movies, and you know, this was the first of its time. I mean, there were other Hoth sets that were parts of this set, but now that you're putting it all together and you get a lot of minifigures, yeah, you know, it's okay with me. But you can see, oh wow, actually, like I think I bought mine for 400 new, so it hasn't years ago, so it hasn't gone up that much. So yeah, I don't think the fandom's crazy about this set. TIE Fighter. Yeah, I mean the tie interceptor is a lot cooler. This, yeah, you know, kind of like a blocky fuselage. And the regular tie is the most boring tie, right? I mean, if they had like a UCS tie bomber, that would be amazing. But here, I mean, you do get a pretty good minifigure. I think this one's pretty valuable. But the actual ship is like, you know, not so exciting, and you can tell by the prices too. So the first Sandcrawler, is that a UCS set? I guess it's not considered not. Only the second Sandcrawler. Yeah, the first Sandcrawler is, yeah, it's kind of 8-bit, kind of blocky and embarrassing. The minifigures are pretty poor. This one, yeah, some people really love it. Nobody hates it, I think, but it's not like it's medium tier for me. One, because it was from the brittle, the fragile brown bricks era, so it's very easy to break some of these elements. I mean, you get a ton of minifigures, which is awesome, and there's a lot of interior like mechanisms and details for the set. So it's almost like a play set and a UCS set. Pretty affordable, so that's nice. And even, yeah, some of these minifigures are quite valuable now, like Uncle Owen and stuff. Okay, moving along, we'll go with the Red 5. So this is the second X-wing. So you know, it made a lot of improvements over the first X-wing, but of course it's not as good as the new X-wing. So not much to say there. And then I guess, did you just get one R2? I don't think you got a pilot. Yeah, it doesn't look like in the pictures. And you can tell, yeah, the resale val. I mean, the market price now is like pretty low. So I think no one's crazy about this X-wing. But I don't think it's in the low tier, just because, in my opinion, it looks great. Is this the old R2D2 now? Did we cover this guy already? Oh yeah, with um, this is the R2D2 remake, I think. Yeah, B-wing. I'll go with the medium tier also. Just because, one, I mean, the B-wing in Return of the Jedi is very cool, interesting ship. Probably, you know, practically speaking, it seems pretty silly to design a ship this way, but it has a lot of like cool, interesting details. And I mean, and you know, you displaying it at an angle like this was kind of interesting from Lego. You can also fold the S foils down and just, you know, lay it on its side or something to save space. But yeah, you know, it didn't have a minifigure. People aren't crazy about this vehicle, so medium tier. Although, yeah, you know, the resale, I mean, the new market prices are pretty high. Let's see, did we miss any? Yeah, the first Death Star uh, place. I mean, some people hate on this compared to the Death Slice, but I give them credit for like you know, this is their first attempt, like a huge, like a dollhouse basically for Star Wars fans with all the iconic scenes. And you can and then the remake 75159 is basically the same set, $100 more. So that shows you that like the designers did a lot of the heavy lifting with this set. You know, coming up with great solutions for the various diorama scenes. And of course, it had a great minifigure lineup. A lot of them are highly valuable now, like the Black Droids and Tarkin, etc. So this is just classic. And yeah, this is on the border of high tier, I'd say. And then going to the 75159, the remake. I won't put this in high tier either, just because it's so similar to the first one, and it's $100 more. So it's like, what are the fans getting really? I mean, more detailed minifigures, that better improved minifigures in some cases. But other than that, you know, are you paying? Would you pay $100 more for that? And like the Vader's tie is a little better. You know, there are some tiny improvements here and there, but I don't know. Was that worth the 100? Okay, I guess, yeah. Cloud City is not here. Maybe that's part of Master Builder series and the Cantina. Obviously, I like both of those a lot too. I would put those in high tier, but it doesn't make sense. So those are Master Builder series. Yet Ewok Village is is UCS. Well, whatever. But now we're going to high tier. So Ewok Village, iconic. I guess this is due for a remake in 2026. Get a ton of great minifigs, a lot of detail. I think the brown bricks are brittle in this set too, so be careful if you get. But I think a lot of the bricks are easy to replace if you break them. But the drawbridge, the little contraptions and traps and stuff, it's great. The only problem is it takes a lot of display space, and it's on the market price for Ewok Village is really high now. Okay, Slave One, high tier. Yeah, I'll be pretty quick here. Yeah, everyone loves this set. Everyone loves Boba Fett and the ship. Yeah, this Boba Fett is the best version probably, and highly valuable. Yeah, and you can tell by the market prices. And then I'll move on. Django ship. I'll call it equivalent. Yeah, I mean Django has a lot of good minifigures, so nothing too special here. But they did modify the design in some other ways, like reducing gaps and making a little more detail here and there. So give them credit there. And this is just a beloved ship in the fandom. Yeah, ATST. Um, just because I mean it's nice that it's cheap and attainable, and it's still in retail, of course. I don't think this is high tier. I should have mentioned this in medium tier. But yeah, it's an improvement over the first ATST, of course. Okay, high tier, definitely the new TIE Interceptor. I had a review on this. I mean, the details is amazing. It looks like like kind of one of those like Japanese crazy models. That like those like World War II airplanes and stuff that are like super display models. For, yeah, it could be a movie prop. It looks so good. One of my favorites. And then what can you say? The Venator, right? The capital ships are the best. Everyone loves them. Badass. At the time it came with a great Rex that was $100. Now after the mini Rex became available, well, I should have sold mine at the time if I knew. But yeah, everyone loves the Venator. I mean, the one drawback is the outside of the ship is a little boring compared to the Star Destroyer, and it doesn't have any interior rooms. Oh yeah, I should said for the Superstar, sure. It has a small interior room. It's not that impressive, but it's nice that Lego tried. Razor Crest. I'll put this in high tier, but it's kind of like, in my opinion, the worst of the high tier. Again, one, it's so detailed. Everyone, yeah, everyone loves Mando and the Razor Crest. Well, it's not higher in my view because one, the price is very high, and it's almost too big. Like, I had a detailed review of this recently, but you could get away with making a UCS set that's like 10-20% smaller, I think, and lower the price. It's hard to display, and building these heavy old engines was not the funnest thing to. Kind of repetitive, but the minifigures are great in this set, of course, and then the guy who rides the creature. Republic gunship, yeah, fan favorite. One, yeah, it kind of like the Razor Crest. It's a little too big, I want to say, but people like it. Just the ship and the Star Wars canon, everyone loves it, and it looks good. I mean, having the giant cargo bay gap in the middle is a little weird, but it's not like a deal breaker to me. And it's reasonably affordable still to get. Yeah, yeah, you can find a lot of used ones. And the minifigures are not special. Maybe that's one drawback of the set. Yeah, it doesn't have special minifigs. And then going into God mode here. So the new Y wing, no, no complaints here. It's beautiful, beautiful ship that's still pretty affordable. And now we're going to God tier here. So yeah, the new Star Destroyer, Chef's Kiss, perfect. The only downside of it is it's just so huge, and like where are you going to display it? But this ship's supposed to be huge, so that's awesome. A lot of improvements over the first one. It has details on the underside. The engines look more impressive. The bridge looks more impressive. Of course, it comes with very sought after minifigs. The box is great. Yeah, I think I sold my box for like $50, so that helps recoup some of your cost. And yeah, I think I said retired recently. Yeah, it's expensive now. The two Millennia Falcons next. So this one is I would say the best UCS set. Just because the minifigure lineup, it's almost minifigure scale. It's got some interior rooms, the detail. It's a lot of improvements over the original. What? Yeah, the only drawback is the price, right? But if you can afford it, this is a must, and you can tell by the popularity, right? This is the most popular UCS set as well for a reason. Then going back to maybe its predecessor, the one that got things started. Yeah, I mean, you got to give a lot of props to the design team for even attempting this at the time. And what a steal, 4.99. I regret it so much now. I had the opportunity to buy a used one. I'm sorry, a new one for 600. And I didn't have a lot of money back then, like 2012, and I balked on it. But I mean, now you see how the prices are. It would have been a steal. But yeah, it's so funny that this pirates rigging for the engine area is this gray piece here is like so expensive just because it was only in this set. Yeah, I guess you could get a brown one and just spray paint it gray, but um, anyway, not to fraud anyone, but just if you need the piece. But yeah, this started it all. So this was Lego saying like, yeah, wow, we can make giant UCS sets, and people will buy them and people will like them, and they look really good. So and it came with minifigs too. So yeah, maybe one of the first sets with minifigs. Vader's tie, also God tier. I mean, at the time, 2006, pretty primitive. A lot of like angly, a lot of gaps and things, but just everyone loves this ship, right? And this was one of the first sets I got, so it's sentimental value. The box looks really great, and yeah, maybe this one's due for a remake as well. But it's in my opinion, it's highest tier. We covered all these. Yeah, the new snow speeder, in my opinion, it's high tier because again, I really like the ship. I know some people don't have the same opinion. These minifigures are well detailed and valuable, quite valuable now. Yeah, the price is still reasonable. I think just because the ship is not as popular as other ones, but yeah, a lot of the same design as the first one, which just cleaned up things here and there. No huge changes. And we're getting to the end of the show now. So yeah, and of course also God tier ATTE. I mean, what can you say? This is a huge Lego design challenge of making something of this weight and height, and to be able to stand on four legs. So that's what you need a tool to move a Technic mechanism to get these legs to move. So you can't you just move them yourself because if Lego gave you the movement freedom, it would fall apart. So that's amazing. Yeah, detailed from head to toe, amazing. The price is really high, which is a bummer. But you get a lot of minifigures. You get like almost like a realistic interior here. Um, it's very well made. Not fragile. You can open up these panels and display it this way or display it closed. It's I love this set. Yeah. And I did, yeah, I was able to sell the box for $50 too, so that's nice. Yeah, yeah, some people are box collectors, I guess. And is that it? Did we? Yeah, I think we covered all of them. So yeah, it's good to end on the AT-AT. Hope you enjoyed this. Sorry, very long video, but do you agree or disagree with my rankings? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I will see you next time, and may the force be with you.